In our last video, we mentioned that we felt like the winds of change were coming, and we had a couple foreshadow text crawlers, and let us tell you, we were not kidding. After a couple of days into what was planned to be a 10-day wait in Mahon, Menorca, we received word that part of our previous crew would not be returning to Blackbird to finish the trip we were all taking together. Marta and Alessandro had chosen to stay in Greece. Luca, however, would be returning to Blackbird when the weather improved with one of his longtime friends to bring us to 4 crew.
The winds of change were blowing and they weren't done with us yet.
We are on the City K in Menorca, and we have a very giant storm that's going to hit this area tomorrow with speeds close to 50 knots. And so we've got multiple tie downs. This is the biggest windstorm that we will have been in. It looks like another Medicane, though they haven't called it that yet. But I'll show you the windy example right here. You can see that it's just this giant twister right out in the middle of the Mediterranean. Anyway, I'll show you what we've done to try and protect our boat a little bit. We have crisscrossing lines in the back from the stern, and we're going to be hit on this side of our boat. On the port side of our boat is going to take the impact of the wind tomorrow. It's already 30 knots right now. So we have not very many tie downs on the starboard side, but we are tied up. You can see the boat next to us has, I think, 8 lines tied to the shore. We have close to that. So let me get past K. We have 2 lines going straight off the stern area, the stern cleats to the shore, but the port side one goes off at an angle to help protect us from the wind going that way. And we have an X going through the middle. The lazy lines from the town K, you can see there's a pair here and a pair there. So we have one from this area and one from the next one over going to our bow. The lines, come on up here. The lazy lines that come off the seafloor, I assume they're attached to a big cement block on the bottom of the sea, are too big to tie 2 of them around one of our cleats. So we have one tied on, and the second one kind of passes by the side of it. We have a towel under it to protect the hole. And then it comes back to this point where we've taken one of our spare halyards and attached to it and run it back through a pulley to our aft winch. And so we can tighten that up as much as we need. And then right here, I have the halyard on top of another piece of dock line so that this can roll if this gets loose and tight. I don't want to hurt the hull again. Then we've taken this really long dock line that we shore tie with and tied both ends to the 2 wall cleats. The gentleman in the boat next to us was kind enough to take another one of our halyards, and we attached it to our forward starboard cleat because it has a little bit of room on it. We attached the halyard to it, ran it over to his winch, and he cranked us over towards his boat. And that helped us get these lines really taut from the midship cleat. And then we're tied on the starboard forward cleat also. So we have 3 lines to the seafloor, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 lines to the City K. So hopefully, fingers crossed, This is going to be enough to withstand the wind tomorrow, which is going to suck because our boat's already bouncing all over the place. But we're ready for it.
He's very excited. We think we have his phone fixed. The one that crashed and burned in Croatia.
We have a whole bunch of really good video for this episode, but my phone, which we do most of our videoing with, decided to go snorkeling without me.
One of our favorite things to find in a new place is a good vegetable market. Finding fresh veggies really gives us some boost in morale, especially when the weather turns for the worse. This market in the heart of Old Town was not only beautiful, but well stocked with veggies, butchers, wine shops, fish market, and other specialty shops. Our first order of business, besides getting more food, was to get a simple part made for a repair to our boat.
All we needed was a simple 7-inch square plate of stainless steel made with a hole in the middle. It took almost 10 days and walking about 40 kilometers and calling every single metal fabrication place on the island, and I had completely struck out. I found a steel distributor, so I walked in and asked if they had some scrap steel they could cut for me. They ended up cutting the center out of a large I-beam and ground it down to the right size for me. These two guys were kind enough to drop everything they're doing and give me a hand. Thanks, guys.
We were definitely going stir crazy and had to get out and about despite the rain. We decided to go to the Mahon Museum.
Warehouses in the Port is the name of the focal point of this exhibition. And it's also the painting that depicts everyday life on the eastern docks of the Port of Mahon. And it's painted by an anonymous painter.
It shows a sector of the port of Mahon in early 19th century, full of activity.
There are 112 figures in this painting, identifying different levels of Menorcan society in the first third of the century. Workers, tradesmen, churchmen, sailors, housewives, ladies, with costumes, tools, and attributes for each of the social groups.
This carton tank was used to disinfect buildings to avoid spread of infectious diseases. The Mahon Museum was really well put together and we highly recommend a visit. The painting's characters, which were scattered around the outdoor plaza in the center of the museum, was a great touch. Well done.
Day 10 was actually really nice weather and a welcome relief. We sat outside most of the day in the sun and enjoyed not bouncing around. Ginger was especially happy to soak up some of the sun.
But the rest was short-lived and the wretched bad weather returned to us again. This was about the time our crew was scheduled to return to the boat. Due to the bad forecast, they decided to wait for another weather window before returning to the boat.
Kay and I were getting itchy to get off the city's beautiful but agitating Kay wall and head back out to sea to continue our journey to the west. But the weather was being stubborn and it just wouldn't let up. So, as we've done in the past,
Yep.
we set off to our favorite bakery to break up a bad weather.
We are dashing out between the rainstorms. We have about a 4-hour gap, hopefully, to do a little grocery shopping and to go deal with cell phone. Our favorite thing to do. Such a necessity, but man, it's not been great since we've got to Italy and Spain. Not Spain's fault.
The cell plans and service that's here in the EU is leaps and bounds better than what we have found in the US. We would take this over what's in the US any day. There's no contracts here.
Yeah.
It's like €5 a week for the same thing we were getting in the US, but better. And there's no roaming fees. I can go to Italy or Spain or Greece and use my same SIM plan.
So what's the issue right now that we're dealing with? If you would
Language.
explain. Yeah, getting the right plan. It's our fault. We don't know Spanish.
Since we don't have contracts, and Kay and I have chosen, I mean, you can have a contract, but we've chosen not to have a contract because we haven't known when we were going to leave the EU. So we just buy a SIM card wherever we go and recharge it when we need to. However, there's language barriers that we have to overcome. So we have to go figure out what we're doing now. We have to go talk to somebody in the store, which isn't a big deal. It's just, you gotta walk to the store.
Yeah, and right now, it's looking really nasty. We're getting ready for some 35 to 40 knot winds in the next day or two. So this is the precursor. Day after day, high winds, rain, and bouncing around tied to the city's boardwalk quay felt like Groundhog Day.
All we could do was try and wait out the weather and explore the wonderful city of Mahon on the island of Menorca while we're waiting for another weather window.
Key, how do you like waiting out the storm? It's super fun. You can't even go outside. Well, you could, but you get blown away. It's incredible. So here we are, enjoying our time.
It's awesome.
You know who thinks it's awesome?
The cat.
She thinks it's awesome.
So Kay, how are you feeling?
Well, despite hurry up and waiting constantly,
Yeah.
I'm actually feeling pretty optimistic.
Yeah?
Yeah, for the most part. There are days when I'm not, but overall, I feel pretty good.
That's good. The seasoned sailors that we've been talking to are running into while we're waiting mostly have commented about how strange the weather is in the Mediterranean this fall.
Mm-hmm.
And they're in the same, not the same boat. They have a similar issue in that the traveling is unpredictable, more so than they've experienced before.
Right.
It's been frustrating for us, and it's kind of a metaphor for life in a way. Sometimes you have to wait for an opportunity to present itself or a door to open before you can go through. You can choose to bash your head against a wall and try and get through yourself if you want, but sometimes it's more prudent to wait for the opportunity. And that's the road that we're taking.
We're learning to be ever more patient and look for the lessons that are presented and try to have fun while we're waiting as best we can.
Anyway, the winds have changed, continue to blow, and we're gonna roll with the punches and make the best of it.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks for watching. Appreciate the time you've taken out of your day to give us a look, and we'll see you in our next video.
Bye.
Bye-bye. We do have something, well, another, all,